Welcome to the Heartful Healing Hub podcast. I am Deanne, your host, frequency intuitive and energetic healing guide, here to hold space for transformation through sound, energy, and sacred storytelling. You're listening to Healed and Whole Stories of Remembering, a special series where I sit with women who've walked through deep health challenges and emerged transformed. These are conversations that are sacred, heart to heart, soul to soul, filled with truth, resilience, and the power of coming home to yourself. May these conversations inspire your own inner healer to awaken. Let's begin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast. Today, I am sitting here with Irene, and I will pull up her bio so I can introduce her properly. Irene Vaxberg is a motivational speaker that inspires her followers every day through the power of social media. She documents her journey overcoming chronic pain and finding her miracle through a groundbreaking technology that gave her life back to her. Irene is a business owner, hairdresser, hairdresser for 30 plus years, mother, and passionate advocate for social injustice issues. She documents, no, I already read that part. You can introduce you as Irene. My dear friend, how are you?
I'm doing great, Diane. Thank you for having me here.
Awesome.
Here.
So whenever you're ready to tell us your story, the stage is yours, my dear.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so honored always when people invite me to share my story, my journey, and I hope you find some inspiration, motivation, and understand that your difficult moment doesn't define you. That it's your superpower. So my story started in 1979 when my parents decided to leave former Soviet Union for us to have, much better life. The opportunities that was waiting for us in Belarus was basically zero to nothing. So at 12 years old, I came to this country not knowing how to speak English, but just had a bunch of dreams. And my father said to us, well, here you go, girls. I have a sister that's younger. I brought you to this country. You can create whatever you desire. Is going to be easy? No. Is it possible? Yes. Go knock on those doors. And I took it literally. And so the journey began. Entrepreneuring is in my blood. And I always knew that I was going to work for myself. I wasn't that 9 to 5 person. Nothing's wrong with it, but just wasn't for me. The American dream was to own my own salon. But, it started learning English and being bullied and being made fun of, and teased. It wasn't easy to get through all of that. When I talk about it, and I haven't talked about it in a long time, it just makes me kind of sad, and I want to cry because I remember that little girl that knew that she was made fun of, and I couldn't do anything, right? I couldn't say anything. And through that journey, teenage years, when I told people I'm going to own my own salon, and their response was, nobody's going to sit in the chair. You speak funny English. You have an accent. No one wants a hairdresser that speaks funny. And it sat with me for a long time. I almost didn't do it. And I said, you know something, I'm going to show you. So there was a moment in my life where I took a course because I went through a vocational school, right? Where you graduate and you have a trade, because my parents couldn't afford beauty school, and I had to figure it out. Literally had to do all of this on my own, and I did. And I knew that I had to learn. I mean, running a business is not that easy. And so I took now it's known like boot camp, right? Like, those kind of programs. And this beautiful gentleman, he was like a Fortune 500 coach. Now that I understand that, and he said, fake it till you make it. And I hated that kind of mindset, right? But sometimes you have to believe it before you see it. So exactly that's what he was saying. And while I was taking this course, he said, what do you want to do? He was going, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to be a hairdresser, but I don't think I'm going to be one because I sound funny. And he said, Irene, you're going to be a hairdresser. You're going to own a salon and you're going to make people feel wonderful. Your accent is a gift, not a curse. They're going to have to listen to you much more carefully and pay attention. They may not remember your name, but they remember the way you speak and use it to stand out, not to hide. And that touched my heart, right? Like, it's the first time. I was like 20 something years old. Somebody said something positive about my accent. So to make a long story short, I did it. I had my salon. Then my name was in lights. I lived my American dream. I lost it, rebuilt it, got married, got divorced, did it as a single mother. The journey has been incredible. Became a grandma in between all of that in a very young age. My oldest child, needed a lot of support. And, then I was in a great place again. And then, actually, at 23 years old, I got into a terrible car accident. That was my first one. And that was an experience on its own. Um, it was like a life after death experience. And then I went through the tunnel. So God, that was very confusing as well. And, God gave me some things to do, and I followed it, and then I stopped sharing and then continued with my life because it was a lot at a young age and not understanding the phenomena that I experienced it. And I went on and got married again and had another baby and had another divorce, had another divorce, and again rebuilding my life again. And again, the journey wasn't easy. I share this to show you that no matter where you begin or what universe throws at you in between, you can make it. If I did it, you can do it too. And that is always my message, that yeah, life could be complicated, but we need to regroup, maybe take a break, but never give up. Never give up. So that's been my journey. And at 43, I was celebrating my 43rd birthday, 20 years before. From the first car accident, I got into exactly the same car accident. There was no difference. T-boned on the right side. The car flew into me. And that car accident took everything away from me. My mindset, my hope, my faith, my will to fight. I gave all of my power to strangers, to doctors. It was empty. The chronic pain was so bad that my neurology basically collapsed, and I lived in shaken and spasms for 3 years. I lost that successful business that I rebuilt. My 12 years old was taking care of me. It was very difficult. I didn't, I've been in some difficult situations. As I told you, my oldest needed my assistance. She made me a grandma in a very young age. I raised my granddaughter for 3 years. But maybe that was a difficult moment, but I had the financial stability to be able to find that support, to go to therapy, to find some help. But this was nothing except bills and stress and hopelessness. And 8 years ago, um, I decided I was done. When doctors told me that I'm going to be in a wheelchair, I could not imagine myself being that way because I'm full of life. But to know that my daughter is going to have to take care of me in that way, I said, no, thank you. And I said, I want to go. She'll cry, and my oldest will cry. It will be sad for a minute, but life goes on. I already felt that in my body, right? When your body is not working and you on major drugs, you don't even think right. Like your brain is just really like, I didn't understand, but I was literally high out of my body, but in my body. I don't know if it makes I don't know if it makes sense, but I didn't want to live that way with no emotions and just voices in my head. I thought I was going crazy. So I said, God, I'm done. I had bottles of pills and bottle vodka. I always am Russian, so vodka. I went through a lot of bottles of vodka. I also like tequila. I mean, I'm not, I'm trying to find some laughter and joy, not joy, but you know what I mean. It's a very hard conversation to have, and I said, God, I'm done. I'm just gonna sit and figure out which combination will take me faster. And now that I look at it, yeah, it's like people say, well, did you want to live for your children? I'm like, no, I wanted to die for them. So I don't have to be an anchor in them, and I didn't have to be, you know, news for them, right? It's hard. Like children should not be taking care of parents in a young age. I mean, I don't think children are responsible for parents, but I'm saying yes, the support, but what I would have needed was major care. So I said, God, I'm done. And God said, no, you're not. Keep on praying. I'm sitting there literally every day arguing with God. Like, I want to go. And God's like, not on my time. I need you to pray. I'm like, I don't want to pray. I've been praying for 6 years. You have not heard one prayer. Who am I praying? What am I praying to? Doctor said there's nothing there for me. And that hurts me even more that I gave away that mindset, because my glass has been empty many times over. And I saw it being overflowing, right? But when we give away our power, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be doctors, partners, friendships. Like we release it, we invite this negativity by allowing it, right? That conversation. And I was really angry with myself. So I said, okay, God, I'm done. Like, let me just pray so you would leave me alone. I was dead serious because doctors told me there was nothing. And, through all of this, I still prayed because it gave me comfort, but I had no belief in it. It's an interesting concept. I'm still trying to figure it out. So I said, God, and I'm laughing because it was such a visual moment. He said to me, like genie in a bottle, in that little thing from that movie, 3 wishes, but he said, you only have one. And he's like, make it a good one. Like, make it a good one. You have one chance to like preach to me. And I said, okay, I want drug-free, non-invasive, no chemicals, no side effects. I said, I'm so tired to be poked and examined. I had one time needles this big poked into my skin for 45 minutes. It was so painful. And I said, make sure it's affordable because I have 2 pennies to rub. And then I said, you know how we roll? I said, in my chair, there's not just a haircut. We literally do therapy. I'm not a therapist, but such a close relationship with my clients, and they share with me more than therapy. I said, if it's a business, it has to have a mission, purpose, and passion. Because couldn't see myself cutting hair, not just shaking, but in a wheelchair. Just that wasn't even a phantom. Like, how is that going to look? So I was hoping that I can do something from the wheelchair. And I said, so not expensive to start again. And I said, if you deliver it, I don't believe it. I will share it. Not only that I didn't believe in you, you got to me, but you also sent me a miracle that I didn't believe in. And I said, thank you so much. Now it's yours. You make a decision and I will honor it. And I hope you take me away. And so I did that. A couple of weeks later, the blessing came, and I said, no, thank you. The blessing came. I said, no, thank you, because it came in such a weird way. I expected a doctor say, Irene, I found something. I expected a drug, a surgery, a treatment, but this thing came in a pair of socks. And I'm thinking, what in the world? And this technology was woven into this magical socks. And thank God, my dear friend Kim did not take a no for an answer. And people say to me, well, why did you say no? And I said, because the pain that I lived in and got comfortable in it and knew how to smile through it, it was comfortable. But another thing that would not work would be more painful and disappointment than the pain that I needed morphine for. And they're like, oh, okay, I can see. And people, if you're not in pain, you don't understand it completely, because we've been disappointed so many times. I spent so much time, money. And so that's why I said no. And what I've learned from that when we pray, we have to pray with open heart and open mind. God gives us not what we want, but what we need. And that was a powerful lesson through that as well. So I get this beautiful gift and I put it on, and it was in the most dire time because I was waiting for my 10th epidural. Yeah, 10th. I know
Yes.
a lot, but yeah, 10th epidural. And I didn't have that epidural. This magical wearable technology that is drug-free, non-invasive. At that time, I didn't understand exactly how it works. I just knew that I wasn't in pain when I was wearing. I wasn't shaking when I was in it. And I just literally like, where do I get it? I don't care how much it costs. Let me sign up for about 20 pairs because I didn't want to be a moment without it. It's the first time in 6 years I had some relief. And now, many years later, it's in the little patch now. We have 15 different modalities. It literally gave me my life back. It gave me a mission. It gave me a purpose. It gave me a passion. It's the reason that I get out of bed. Is it easy for me to share this? No, because it's still emotional. It still brings me back to so many painful moments, but at the same time it gives me hope. Every time I share it, I pray to God and inspire others to see that their difficult moment doesn't define them. And that's how I felt broken. Felt nothing wrong with disabilities, but for me it was like I didn't know how to live in that, and I was trying to make peace with it, and I'm still processing. Like every time I share, it feels like I'm going deeper and deeper of letting go of that pain. But now it's been 8 years, and I'm sharing the journey even more meaningfully, more powerfully. And every time I share, I feel like I'm healing, and I hope whoever is listening is healing too. And knowing that people say, well, how do you get to that next step, right? I had to lean into the pain. I had to dissect the car accident. I had to understand why it happened. What was the reason and the purpose? I had to forgive myself for a lot of things. That car accident healed me from so much trauma. Like, it was everything in one. We don't even understand when it starts, the healing process starts. It was like, it's a car accident that I didn't know I needed. It sounds crazy, right?
Yeah, well, it's not, because like I don't believe anything happens just out of the blue. Everything happens for a reason, in my personal opinion. And often, even in the worst case scenarios, there is a silver lining, and this was your silver lining in that car accident. So yeah, I
Yeah.
totally understand that one.
I felt like that car accident buried me in debt, in depression, in loneliness, hopelessness. But I would, as I start sharing, it was very hard, but I knew I promised God, universe, whatever you believe in, that I will share it. And I was like, I don't want to show the worst of me. And I realized that I was actually planted for exactly this moment, like with you and other beautiful souls that allow me to come on their platform and share, that I wasn't buried. And and then you have to dissect that, right? Where is diamonds? in the ground and dirt. When we plant seeds, we actually dig dirt, right, and put it into the darkness, and then
Yeah.
we put more dirt on top of it. We kind of bury it and then we water it. So to me, this platforms and you guys allow me to share. I am watering, I'm releasing, I'm growing, I'm becoming strong. I'm like, I'm an oak, like, that's how kind of how it feels. So that's my message every day, that your difficult moment doesn't define you. It gives you a voice and superpower. Like, we're not buried, but pain is difficult. I don't care what kind of pain, but we have to lean into it. Until I understood that it wasn't just about the car accident, it's everything that led to it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And yes, your message is loud and clear. And I personally am grateful that you're still here, because I would have missed on getting to know you. So thank you, universe.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and it's true. Like, I'm here for a reason. Not for
Mhm.
a reason. And all of you, the same thing. And I know it's hard to say, like, that difficult moment happened to us, right? Like, it's nobody should struggle, right? But I, I took this seminar. I did a lot of things through my life, and especially through COVID. Like, all of these challenges came on Facebook with Tony Robbins and um, Peter Vargas, and it was very interesting. Peter Vargas, I'm probably not pronouncing his last name correctly, but it was amazing. Like, full of energy, full of this passion, and he spoke like a regular person. Like, he's a regular person, but a lot of power, a lot of wisdom, and he created this event, and I was there, like, full force immersed in it. And on Sunday, I was like, oh my God, there's so much information I need to process. And this voice kept on saying, Irene, go ahead. And I knew it was a pastor talking, and he was like more of a, like a, not religious, but that kind of sermon. I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to do it. I just want to chill. But this voice just nagged me. So I turned in, and this pastor was talking. Oh my God. Like, trust, please, please. Trust your intuition. It will never lie. It will bring you exactly where you need to be. It will guide you to the right people. Um, it will change your life when you decide to listen to your intuition. So I did, because you wouldn't leave me alone. And the pastor says, God chose you for a reason. God chose you to carry the cross. I mean, it was with the religious aspect of it a little bit. The burden was put on you, and I understood all of it. I'm fine with it. He chose you because he knew that you may be struggling and maybe living in doubt, but you will finish the journey. You will get to the other side, and you will inspire others. He chose you for that reason. And I'm sitting there like sobbing, like it all making sense. Like, it's like, you might maybe lose everything, but you will rise as Phoenix. And I'm like, oh my. And then he goes, don't waste your pain. Use it to help others. And then he goes, your scars is your medal. Don't be ashamed of them. Show them off. Wear it as badge of honor. And I put him in here much. I'm just sitting there crying. When he said God chose you for a reason, and he knew that no other people would handle it. And I've always had that in my difficult moments, especially with my daughter, the issues that she was going through, me becoming a grandma at such a young age, and fighting for her, for my granddaughter and my daughter. I used to say, well, why would I wish that for someone else? Like, why would I want them to struggle? And maybe they couldn't handle. God gave this to me because he knew I could handle it. I'm strong, and that's why he gave it to me. And then I would go, oh my God, God, please, like, I'm tired. I cannot handle anymore. Like, and he's like, oh, yes, you can. I mean, go for it. And so when this pastor was talking, it brought me back to all of those places where, like, yes, he trusted me enough to carry this. And I wouldn't even think about looking at this technology, even though you don't have to be in pain to use it. If you're alive, you have skin, and it's moving, it will help you live a better quality of life. But I wouldn't have no interest in it, right? Like, I was so busy making money really amazing money. I was very successful hairdresser in Beverly Hills. And like I would like go away. Like, you know, and I would relate the same way because I wouldn't understand to the same way how amazing and how a big of a gift this is from God. It's for God's gift. That's all I can tell you. So it came full circle with this pastor, and I'm like, I hear you, I hear you. And that's like, okay, you need to share more, you need to share bigger. And I'm like, me with funny English on a podcast, like I hate being in front of camera. Like I will push you to the top, but like myself would be the worst thing I could ever do for me. My joke was I'd rather get a root canal.
Oh, that's awesome. Like I said, I'm grateful that you're still around and you're spreading the word. And you're what I love about you is that your personality is just so bubbly. Like your personality is contagious. Like you can't help but feel happy when we're around you. So thank you. So one final message that you would like to share with everybody.
Well, the biggest message for me to you is no matter where you began or what universe throws at you, keep going, right? Keep going. Your difficult moment doesn't define you. It becomes your superpower. And the most important thing is that don't be your best kept secret. Whatever you make, create, or gifted, right? If people don't know, they cannot support you. They cannot be part of it. Right? So me with my accent, here I am on a podcast, so you can do it too.
Alrighty, thank you so much. So all your information and everything is going to be in the show notes. So I am like I said, I'm so grateful that you've been here. I'm grateful that you're still around, and then I get to talk to you and I get to know you and get to spread your message with the world. Like I've said many times before, like you've got that little pebble and you're dropping it in the ocean or in the pond, and all the ripple effects that happen. We may not know who we're affecting, but it's good.
Absolutely. We don't know. And we don't know. We just have to continue sharing and inspiring and showing up, for ourselves and others, right?
Yep, absolutely. Well, as I said, grateful for you, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you for spending time with us inside the Heartful Healing Hub. If this story moved you, please consider sharing this episode or leaving a comment. Your words help others find this sacred space. If you or someone you love has a healing journey to share, we'd love to hear from you. And finally, if you would enjoy a gentle way to unwind after listening, visit the show notes to download your free tea ritual guide, Sip and Soften, a soul-soothing gift to nourish your inner healer. Until next time, be kind to yourself and trust what has always been within you. And remember, you are whole, you are healing, you are home.